Live from Honolulu, Hawaii, it's Baptiste by Fire. And here's your host, Justin Baptiste.
And we welcome you back to another episode of Baptiste by Fire, Conversations with Justin, where we dive into the stories, struggles, and triumphs of our incredible guests. And I'm your host, Justin Baptiste. And we are here with a very special guest. For her last 3 seasons, she has been playing at North Alabama and has continued to not only follow her dreams, but also follow her passions in basketball and her career. And she's currently in the NCAA transfer portal, going to be a senior in the 2025-2026 season. And we're looking forward to seeing where she continues to play her basketball career. And we're here with a very special guest, Rhema Pegues. How are you doing? And good to see you here. I know that you've been doing lots of things so far in the NCAA transfer portal, trying to navigate and find your school. But how are you and what's been going on these days?
I've been amazing. I hope everything is going well for yourself. For me personally, the portal has honestly been a blessing for sure. And I've enjoyed my process thus far. So just looking to just hopefully make a decision, coming pretty soon. But, as of right now, I'm just currently in the relationship stage with every school. So, yeah.
I got to definitely ask you, after 3 seasons at North Alabama, what has led you to the NCAA transfer portal, and what are some of the hopes of when you do decide on joining a new college basketball program?
So for me, the thing about me ending up in the transfer portal was by my coach. She encouraged me, to just hop in the portal and everything because of the just basically like playing style and everything, just to fit, just not being there at the time and stuff. So I mean, you have to understand and respect that. And so for sure, I was just like, I'd already kind of felt like it was time for change anyway, and not in a bad way. It was just kind of like I just kind of felt like it's probably time. So I basically was just like, let me go ahead and just hit the portal and everything. And so hit the portal, and now looking forward to my next school. I'm just wanting a home. I'm wanting somewhere that's just genuinely going to give me that peace on and off the court, where I'm able to, just be able to be the best version of myself on and off the court, and basically just go out with a bang for my last year. I mean, honestly speaking, I haven't had a winning season as of yet. So I really am looking forward to, ending on a great note, if, the case may be. But I just, just really want to do that and just be able to just, enjoy my last year of college.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned about that new transition for you and, what it would look like and what it would be. How have you evaluated potential schools to ensure that they not only meet your personal and mental needs, but also your athletic needs as well? And as far as just the approach level, approaching potential challenges such as playing time or adjusting to a new system.
Yes, sir. I mean, honestly speaking, I feel like all the coaches that have recruited me have been very transparent. So that's kind of taken out the thing of just like, anything as far as knowing my role or just where I'll be at on the team and everything coming in. But for sure, I know that when it comes down to my recruitment process and evaluation, I basically have just narrowed it down to basically who can meet my academic needs as far as like my transfer credits, and just being able to know that, like, when I come in, I'm not going to be under a lot of pressure of having to retake various classes that I've already taken because I'm a professional biology major. And so for me, a lot of courses that I took a lot of time, took a lot of sweat, tears, because I also, maintained a 4.0 GPA up until my last semester in the spring of 2024 of last year. And I ended up losing it, but I have it back now. And so that's just kind of been my main thing, is just making sure that I'm able to just maintain and be in that same headspace as far as like being able to, can I work here? That's genuinely what I, have put on that part of it. But for the athletic part of it and everything, the coaches have kind of just answered that themselves and everything. And so now it's basically kind of just down to like the visits to kind of just see where I, kind of stand with each school and everything.
In regards to each school, I'm sure that there's probably like a list of schools or a couple of programs that are looking at you or
Yeah.
conferences that you may be interested in. Can you tell us, I mean, what kind of schools are you looking at right now? What kind of conference maybe intrigues you? Uh, if you want
I'm really not limited. I honestly can say I'm really not limited to any school. I'm open to all. I mean, honestly speaking, you just never know where your blessings can come from. And so I just don't feel like, you should ever just have tunnel vision when they're tunnel vision on something that required you to have more, like an open mind perspective. And so for me personally, it's like I'm just attacking this with, you know, all of my perspectives and just keeping my head space clear so that way that I'm, able to figure out which school, which conference best, fits my game and everything like that. But I'm not limited as far as like, division level conference and everything like that.
You're from Mississippi, obviously, Olive Branch, Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
But you played basketball for quite some time. I know that you're probably getting a lot of schools and offers and whatnot. But you know a little bit about Hawaii. I mean, would Hawaii be a consideration for you as far as playing college basketball?
I'm open to whatever school gives me the best opportunity. But Hawaii would not be a knock. I mean, regardless, at the end of the day, I understand that it's a little bit far fetched as far as location, considering where I'm from. But at the end of the day, whatever, state, whatever conference in school and university is just able to just give me, just that best fit moving forward. I genuinely look forward to just making that adaptation and just, being there.
Now, being from Olive Branch, Mississippi, can you tell us about what it's like being from there? What's the basketball landscape?
Basketball landscape, honestly, in Olive Branch, Mississippi, is Olive Branch High School for sure. For at least in my opinion, a lot of people might disagree with me because we are like known to be the rival and the most hated in typically our state because of how much we win a lot of times. But I genuinely will say that the landscape of basketball is there. And it's equal for both men and women. I mean, I cannot tell you how great of a fan base that I had in high school. I mean, the level of competition that we played was already, complex as itself was, but when it comes down to just our fans were always, very, very supportive. They never left us. They even traveled when we went to Jackson and we won, I won, three consecutive state titles in high school as well. And our fans came to each and every single last one of our state championship games that we played in. And they were there and they were loud in the sea of gold. And so I just, that's why I rep my school, I rep my state, and I rep my city, very loud and proud because they never left me, regardless of, everything that, the state kind of gave me hell for a lot of times whenever we played at state in Jackson. But nonetheless, to say, genuinely, being in Mississippi, being from Mississippi is a blessing. And being Olive Branch, I've definitely had the best of the best as far as coming from a basketball background.
Now, reflecting on your journey, I know that you spent the last 3 seasons at North Alabama. Where do you feel you've grown as a player?
My mentality, I definitely would have to say my mentality, my mindset. I genuinely feel like Florence, Alabama itself has grown me as just a young lady in general. Coming in, not necessarily knowing anything about Alabama, not knowing anything about Florence for sure. I really had a hard time, I feel like, here and there trying to be acquainted with what it was that was asked of me a lot of times. But genuinely, I was able to learn and catch on very, very quickly. I mean, even just from the basketball perspective, I genuinely feel like at times it was kind of hard for me mentally when it came down to just like some perspectives as far as like, conditioning and just different things like that. But genuinely speaking, now I've grown for sure. And mentally, I'm just, prepared to just be able to go take what I know now, what I've learned, and to go to apply that at my next school.
Now, as far as this past season, in the 2024-2025 season, you've averaged 4 points a game, 1.5 in rebounds, 41.9 from the field, 30.8 from three, and 8% from the free throw line. How would you overall summarize your game and your performance this season?
Wasn't my best at all. I was kind of in and out with an injury. I had a spinal fracture injury earlier on in the season that I ended up being able to heal from finally. I was able to, get the adequate amount of rest and recovery to be able to just navigate and get myself back to where I am now, which is currently back on the court, full go, and just basically just doing everything in moderation at the same time where I'm able to, just enjoy my postseason because I did work so hard during the season trying to battle back through my injury. But I mean, now I just know that going to my next school, I didn't want to be a hurt bird. And so, I've rested and now I'm just waiting for my opportunity.
Now, in 2023, 2024 season, I mean, you've averaged 6.8 points per game, 3.3 in rebounds, 32.3 from three, 86.7 from the free throw line, and 43.7 from the field. How would you compare and contrast?
My sophomore season was definitely was probably my best season here at North Alabama for sure. I genuinely feel like that year it was a year that I was able to catch on to my coach's system and make it my own personally. For my game, it's not too much that I do. I'm very fundamental, so it's like it wasn't really hard to catch on to it. I just kind of needed I needed a year to really just learn and everything about what it is that my coach expected of me. And moving forward, I was able to adapt and just fix everything in the way that I couldn't have really imagined. But she ended up, my coach ended up, not being re-signed and everything for her contract. And so we got a new coach this year. And, like I said, just basically just the play style and the fit at times, it kind of collided along well with my injury and stuff like that. So now it's just like, we're just here.
Now, I'm quite curious, who or what has inspired you who and what has inspired you to play basketball at such a high level? And when did you find your love for basketball?
My high school coach would definitely have to be the person that has inspired me to continue playing to the highest level that I played at, for sure. Coming in my ninth grade year, I want to say for sure, I was not a basketball player. I was a soccer player. I've been a soccer player for 12 and a half years. I was a soccer player for 12 and a half years and had several like D1 interests and different things like that because of, my talent in that sport. But then I ended up tearing my meniscus. I want to say in the summer of my eighth grade year, going into my ninth grade year. And basically, I was just like, I didn't see myself being able to compete at the level that I once was able to. I was able to still play and everything, but it just wasn't, mentally, I just wasn't there. And so my high school coach, he ended up, getting in contact with me because he had come to like basically all of my middle school games because it was a rumor, but it was true that I was planning on transferring to go to another school within our district to go play soccer. I wasn't playing basketball. And so I was a dual sport athlete my eighth grade year, and I knew I had to pick one. And I kind of, already made up my mind in my head and everything. And then God had other plans for sure. So I ended up going to Olive Branch High School and playing for Coach Jason Thompson. And he changed my life. He honestly made my game the best that it has been. I genuinely always tell everybody I'm Jason Thompson's product because I genuinely am. He's like another father figure for me. He never has left me even amidst, me graduating. I just left Coach T last week. So I was on spring break and everything. So genuinely for me, it's like he's the one who's pushed me to be the best version of myself as an athlete and as just a young lady.
Now, you mentioned about just the memorable moments that you've had just from the start of soccer to eventually gaining you to basketball.
Yeah.
Are there any other standout moments and memories from your career that you'll always cherish at North Alabama?
At North Alabama, it's a lot of memories actually, because I have a lot. I should say I met my best friends here, and so I'll never, take that for granted. So that's definitely one memory that I'll say. I would have to say when we won at Austin P on the buzzer by my best friend India Howard. She plays here currently, still number 22. It's my girl, Miss 4.0. So she definitely was the major spark for that Austin P game. She just came in with the mindset where she was just like, I want to win. And we were determined to win because, we wanted that placement in the conference tournament and everything. So came in and it was crazy, just the energy that we brought from start to finish, just battling back from being down. And I made a couple like huge plays, down the stretch. I went out with a calf strain, so I wasn't able to physically be in the game until literally when my coach was like, "Can you please go back in?" Because I think it was like a 1-point game, or I think we were tied. And I got back in and the play was drawn up for, I think I was supposed to come off of a screen and they were trying to make it seem like I was the one getting the ball. But it ended up, my teammate luckily shot an air ball, which was not even intentional. And she tipped it in and she made it and we won. And it was just like one of the best moments that I was able to experience because it's a lifetime. It wasn't a lifetime for me, for sure, that I've gotten a chance to experience that. So that's definitely one of my most memorable moments here.
Now, looking back on your career, is there anything that you wish you would have known when you first started out in your basketball career that would have made easier or more for you?
I would have to say, that's a great question. Honestly, I would have to say, get your mind right. I would definitely have to tell my younger self to get your mind right. I genuinely would have never imagined going through a lot of things that I went through, here at UNA and really just throughout my entire basketball career. But nonetheless, it's very rewarding and it's been the best thing that I could have ever went through in my life. It has been the most challenging. A lot of times it's been the most, I guess you could say like I've less liked, being a part of, the basketball community at times. But however, I have definitely learned my identity without basketball, with basketball. I've learned just who I am and who I can be as well. And just I've learned genuinely my true characteristics as a competitor and just as someone, as a leader, just someone who always just wants to get on the court and just do their best and just bring energy on a consistent basis. That's all I, hope to embody whenever I hit the court. And so I genuinely would say that takes a lot of mental get up and a lot of discipline that you have to have within your mindset as well. And so would definitely say that for me would have to be saying that, you just get your mind right.
And knowing that you've experienced like a lot of lessons in your career, I'm sure that you would pass on the same to the younger generation.
Yes, for sure.
Now, for you, you played the shooting guard position, and
Yes, sir.
a lot of athletes probably play the stretch four and whatnot. But what do you enjoy about just that position and how you play that game?
Shooting was the first thing that I learned how to do. Actually, for me, I take shooting very, very seriously. I take pride in my shooting because I feel like it's an art. A lot of the coaches, they, have heard me say that as well as been recruiting me. It's just when I typically tell them, about just when I go into the gym and I go put up my shots, I just feel like I'm on a canvas. When you paint a canvas, when you start, before you paint a canvas, it's blank. And so it's like a lot of times when I go into, my facility and, wherever I'm shooting at and everything, I just lock in on the fact that it's a blank canvas. Nothing has been done yet. No damage, no good thing has been done at all. But it's on me to decide, what painting I want to picture, paint at this moment. So it's just like I get in there and I just begin shooting and I just, get lost in my shots and I just start to just find my rhythm. And then from there, it's just like my canvas is just begin, my paintbrush is just going back and forth and I'm just painting in my head and I just, visualize it in that aspect. So I take pride in being a shooting guard because that's something that I really, really love to do for sure. But I also love playing the shooting guard because it allows me to be very versatile as, with my size. I know I'm not as tall as other guards, but I do have a lot of strength that I'm able to utilize against, typically smaller guards and everything like that. So it just allows me to be able to put a lot of my traits and just my game on display in many, many ways and areas. So
Talk about being versatile. Now I gotta ask you this question. Google girl. I know that.
Goggle girl.
Goggle girl. Yes, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Trademark of the old 1990s or just your style or tell us a little bit more about that. Goggle girl.
So Goggle Girl was built. Everybody typically knows this story because I get asked that a lot. My mom was the reason for this. Going from my 8th grade into my 9th grade year, my mom told me, she was like, you're going to have to get goggles. I was able to play soccer and basketball with my glasses in 8th grade and 7th, 8th grade, but I knew that the competition would be a lot more extensive and it will be a lot more intense as far as like, contact win and everything like that. Cause, middle school, you really don't have that concern. So when I got to high school, my mom was just like, you're going to make it your own though. So she definitely, pushed me into it because I was just like, I didn't want contacts and I didn't want to wear goggles because I didn't want anybody to like talk about me and everything. So my mom, she just kind of psyched me up and was like, it's going to be your own. Like, you'll be able to be like almost like a superhero and you just give you a name. We'll name you. And I was just like, okay. And it wasn't really until I want to say my 10th grade year that I came up with Goggle Girl and was just like, all right, I'm going to be strong in this. And then my 11th grade year, that's when I really started to be like, all right, I'm Goggle Girl. This is me. This is my identity. And from then on, it's just kind of stuck. And so that's part of me and that's who I am as well.
I love it. I love it.
Thank
That's really cool. Now, being a college basketball athlete, I know that a lot has been going on with the transfer portal and how it is with the NIL and the whole 9 yards with that. But for you as an athlete, I mean, can you tell us, I mean, do you mostly think it's more so fit, or do you take in also the NIL aspect with the money and how much people are offering you or things like that? Like, what do you think is more important?
Fit. For sure. Money doesn't buy happiness for me, unfortunately. I'm a true lover of the game. I'm someone who really takes, my passion for the game is just something that I feel like a lot of times is unmatched in my generation at times because a lot of people, like you say, are focusing on the NIL and, just that's genuinely, and with it being a business, I genuinely understand it because I have an NIL as well here with UNA and everything. But UNA, proposing me with the NIL with the collective that I'm a part of, it has not, been my end all be all if I didn't have it. Because at the end of the day, I still was playing the game before I got it. And so it was like at the end of the day, for me, I genuinely just continue to conduct myself in a fashion where it's just I'm a true lover of the game, and that's how I, would love to be seen as, not just somebody that people just come, the coaches just come and just throw money at and just say, hey, like this is what we want to offer you. I want to genuinely be where I feel like I'm going to be able to thrive, regardless of the money, because money I know it doesn't grow on trees, but it can always make its way back when you work for it, and so therefore I'm willing to work. And that's a lot of kind of just where my mindset is with it. But no coach that I've talked to, I haven't had to have that conversation about, all right, what are you going to pay me or anything like that. That's not been my forefront and center of concern. My forefront and center of concern has genuinely just been, do I fit your program? And do you truly, want me to be a part of your program as well?
And to touch up on that, I mean, do you feel with the way that the landscape of NCAA is, just with the NIL and with the transfer portal, I mean, you would say it would probably make it really hard or maybe even intriguing for an athlete to pick a school?
Oh, for sure. I mean, honestly speaking, the more factors that you have to weigh out, the more complex it becomes as a process. So it just makes it easier when you don't have so many unessential, aspects that are kind of just weighing in, and just when you really hone in on what it is that you really want for you. Now, if the NIL is a part of your identity and that's what you really want, then hey, that's, everybody is different. But for me personally, it never, truly mattered to me as far as like, the in my decision making process, it didn't matter. I just genuinely wanted to go with where I was wanted and, just be able to do what I needed to do on and off the court there.
Absolutely. I mean, because nowadays, when you watch college basketball and you look at the players and people wanted to leave and people wanted to stay, I mean, there's really not much of that loyalty of being in a school for 3 years, 4 years, maybe even 1 or 2 years. It just seems like
Right.
It's like everybody wants to travel somewhere else. So luckily for the athletes that have continued to stay and grind through it, I mean, hey, that's big. I mean, that's a great thing. But people have their options and their opinions on things. But for those who continue to have the loyalty and the respect to just grind it out, I give those players much.
Yes, sir.
Now, as far as future wise, what are your future goals? What are your long-term goals? What are your future goals and what are your long-term goals at basketball? I know you're still studying in college to do big things with your major, but
Yes, sir. For me personally, basketball just over about like the last couple months became a thing of where I was able to see myself playing after college and everything, as far as like, possibly going overseas and everything. So I genuinely am looking, and looking to that being an opportunity and an option for me as well. As I am, in my decision-making process, I just kind of allow that to be known. But for sure, it's definitely my thing has been to go to medical school. I really haven't had just, the major WNBA, dreams and everything like that. As a lover of the game, it still doesn't make me lose any love for the game. But however, my academics is something that I've also been able to pride myself in as well, and just balance out equally with the love and the passion that I go after both of them with. And so I've just been able to just maintain who I am and be able to do what I need to do in that fashion to give me both options in the future. So we'll see where I get the chance to, be. But as far as like, after college and everything, I'm looking at either being able to go overseas or, attend medical school for sure.
Brilliant. Well, I'm definitely proud of you and your career, and I'm hoping that for your final year of college basketball, that everything goes well for you in your career.
Thank you. I truly appreciate you.
And that concludes another conversation with Justin. You can reach Justin Baptiste on any of the social media handles listed here. So, until we meet again, remember, It's Baptiste by Fire.